Welcome to our channel, the place where we dive deep into the most shocking twists, hidden motives, and dark turns from your favorite drama series. Today's story takes you into a tangled web of greed, deceit, and calculated manipulation that will leave you questioning every character's true intentions. It's a tale that starts in the sterile, brightly lit corridors of a hospital but quickly spills into a storm of betrayal, all centered on one woman's determination to control a man's wealth by any means necessary. Hayley had always been charming in public, the kind of woman who could make strangers trust her within minutes. But beneath that polished exterior burned an insatiable hunger for control and material power. She knew Bill had more than just a comfortable life, he had an empire. Assets spread across investments, properties, and hidden accounts that few people knew existed. To her, Bill's fortune was not just a symbol of security, it was the key to her own dominance. However, she also knew that Bill was cautious and not easily manipulated when it came to money, so she needed something bigger, something emotional. Something that would make him drop his guard completely. That something came in the form of a carefully constructed lie, a pregnancy. But Hayley was no fool. She understood that claiming to be pregnant without proof would get her nowhere with Bill. He would demand medical confirmation, official documentation, and undeniable evidence. So, she began laying the groundwork for a far more sinister plan. She identified the right hospital, a mid-sized, private facility where the staff were overworked, underpaid, and susceptible to persuasion. Over several weeks, she visited quietly, befriending certain nurses and administrative staff, subtly finding out who was financially struggling or dissatisfied with their jobs. Then, like a predator moving in for the kill, she approached two key figures, a junior doctor with gambling debts and a lab technician with a mounting pile of unpaid bills. To them, she offered relief, but it came with a dangerous price. Falsify a pregnancy test and create a complete set of fake medical records showing that she was not only pregnant but that Bill was the father. The plan unfolded with chilling precision. The doctor manipulated the intake records, altering dates and test histories so it appeared Hayley had been in for prenatal checkups for weeks. The technician forged lab results, ensuring the hormone levels in the paperwork looked medically consistent. Even an ultrasound image was fabricated, pulled from another patient's file, cropped, and labeled with Hayley's name. The falsified documents were indistinguishable from legitimate ones, a perfect weapon in her arsenal. Hayley didn't stop there. She arranged for one of the sympathetic nurses to accidentally leave the paperwork in a visible spot when Bill came to the hospital under the pretense of driving her home from a checkup. The sight of the printed records, the official stamps, and the grainy ultrasound image hit Bill with a force that no logical argument could counter. For a man who valued family and legacy above all else, the idea of becoming a father again and with Hayley triggered both protectiveness and a desire to secure the future for the child. He didn't question the authenticity, why would he? Hospitals were sacred places of trust, and the documents looked flawless. With Bill emotionally disarmed, Hayley began the second phase of her scheme. She subtly influenced conversations about the future, guiding Bill toward the idea of updating his will and securing certain assets for the baby. She feigned vulnerability, speaking about fears of raising a child alone, the importance of stability, and how much it meant to her to ensure the baby would have a good life even if something happened to him. Each word was carefully chosen, each tear strategically timed, painting herself as the devoted expectant mother who only cared about family. What Bill didn't know, and what made Hayley's actions truly monstrous, was that there was no pregnancy at all. The truth behind her deception was rooted in something darker than greed alone. She was hiding a secret that, if revealed, would destroy not only her relationship with Bill but also her standing in the wider social and business circles they inhabited. The fabricated pregnancy served as both a shield and a sword, shielding her from scrutiny while cutting a path toward Bill's fortune. Meanwhile, whispers began circulating in the hospital corridors. Not everyone was blind to the sudden and unusual adjustments made to patient files. A senior nurse noticed discrepancies in the log entries, and an intern, new to the system, accidentally stumbled upon the original, unaltered test results that showed Hayley was not pregnant. But the hospital's internal politics combined with the fear of retaliation from higher-ups, kept the staff silent. For now, her secret was safe. Outside the hospital, the ripples of Hayley's lie began to spread. Bill, feeling the weight of impending fatherhood, started reorganizing his schedule, cutting back on certain business risks, and even making preliminary moves to transfer assets into trusts. His friends noticed the change in him, a mix of anxiety and determination, but attributed it to the natural stress of expecting a child. Little did they know they were witnessing the early stages of a con that could leave Bill stripped of much of his wealth. Hayley's confidence grew with each passing day. The doctors and technicians she had bribed remained silent, their loyalty purchased through both money and fear of exposure. The more Bill invested emotionally and financially in the unborn child, the more secure she felt in her position. Yet, the very perfection of her scheme became its potential undoing. Perfection attracts attention, and in a city where secrets rarely stay buried, all it would take was one wrong move, one overlooked detail, for the truth to erupt. But for now, Hayley thrived in her illusion. She wore the role of the glowing expectant mother like a crown, garnering sympathy, admiration, and influence. Every smile she gave Bill, every gentle touch of her stomach, was part of a calculated performance designed to secure not just his money, but his complete trust she planned to exploit until there was nothing left for him to give. And that is where we leave you for today, deep in the middle of a deception so meticulously crafted it could pass for truth in the eyes of anyone who saw it. The question that remains is not if the truth will come out, but when, and how devastating the fallout will be when it does. Make sure you follow and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the explosive turn this story is bound to take.